Alright, what's up guys? RoyalZProduction here at Subtle Cinematics, and today we're going to be doing an updated part 2 of how I film fitness videos. We're partnering up again with Adam of Divergent Training. We used him in the first tutorial video. We're back at it again here at Brick House Gym, same athlete, and we're gonna break down how I film fitness videos for you guys in depth so you guys can take these tips and tricks onto your next fitness video set. Was that smooth?
Dude, do you have anything to say, bro?
I have one thing to say. Was that smooth or was that smooth?
Yeah, smooth like your butter, man.
Butter. All right guys, so the first shots that we're gonna be getting today are with the Aperture 300D2. So we're also using a honeycomb grid on a large aperture light dome. So this just allows more directional light going to our subject, which will be Adam squatting here in the squat rack. For these shots, for this entire shoot, we're gonna be using the Lumix S1 with a Sigma 35mm, it's a f1.4 L mount, and then we're gonna use the Small HD 501 monitor, just mounted on the top here to my small rig cage, which I'm using a little small rig adapter here to mount the monitor to the cage. Two things here. One, you guys always ask me about this Small HD 501 monitor. It's currently discontinued. So I would recommend going on Small HD's website and buying one of the 7-inch LCD monitors that they carry. They're very cost effective and they're great quality. Two, the light that we're using is very expensive. It's definitely not a cheap budget light, the Aperture 300D. Something on the more budget friendly side would be the Godox lights. So I'll leave a link in the description for Godox. They're about half the price as Aperture, but they're still great quality lights that you can use on your set.
About to start off the first shots, little water, make it look like we're sweating. I mean, we are, but just to add that dramatic effect. Usually it's baby oil, but we had some water tonight.
Smells good.
Dude, that's why I'm nervous, but it was like car cleaner. Tried to clean it out as much as I could, but it's like coming out and I'm like,
car cleaner, man.
Man,
This is what he puts. This is what he puts on himself before the workout. BMW.
BMW, man.
So I'm getting two different types of shots here for squatting. So one that I like to do is I will focus up on the athlete's face, and then when they squat down, I also actually physically squat down with them, and then I come back up, just tracking their face and making sure that their face is either on the one side of the thirds or like on just like one of the thirds pretty much. Another type of shot that I'll get for squatting as well is I'll pull focus on the athlete's face and I'll stay on the side. I just think that squatting shots look the best when you're like just pointing directly to the side from them, and I'll let them squat down and I'm gonna do like just a very still motion, and then I'm gonna wait for them to come back up. This makes for just a really good hype transitional shot that I'll lay over throughout this video as well. We're gonna get just a different angle of it now. So for this, we have the Aperture that's obviously casting kind of like a moonlight down on him, like a spotlight. So while he's squatting here, the Aperture's on a 45-degree angle and it's pointing directly down at him. So we shot on the light side of him. So his whole face was like lit up and everything. It looked super cinematic, it looked sick. But to get more of a dramatic feel on your footage, you want to go on the opposite side of where the light's hitting your subject. So for this, we're going to be shooting his shadowed side of the face. This kind of just outlines the other side of his face and almost like backlights him. It looks really sick, and I'm gonna lay over all the shots right now. So just play around with your lighting. Wherever your lighting's placed, start working around where your lighting is actually placed on your subject. Try to get as creative as possible when you are filming with a controlled environment. Before we get too deep into this video, I want to mention that all of the clips that you are seeing me film right now with the Lumix S1, we actually have for sale on our online shop. So you guys can actually practice editing gym videos without having to shoot the footage on your own. So we basically do this so we give people the opportunity to get into a different niche of videography. Whether you're a music videographer or maybe an automotive videographer, but you're looking to tap into the fitness video niche, we offer all these raw files so you guys can actually practice editing gym videos and get the hang of it before taking on your first paid client. It's super cheap, very affordable, and you get access to every single raw file that we filmed today on this set. Alright guys, so we're gonna switch up the locations a little bit from a squat rack to just like a deadlift pad here. We're gonna be doing a couple or a few different exercises here. We're gonna be doing some deadlifts, and then I want Adam doing some upper body stuff as well. The lighting again is gonna be the Aperture 300D2 on a C-stand, and we have it raised all the way up. Now the reason why we're doing the C-stand is just so we can get the aperture light as high as possible and shining directly down. So when you guys are doing any type of like spotlight type shot with your lighting, you want to have the light as high as possible and pointing directly down at your subject. Another tip here is not to blast your light at like 100%. I think I have this aperture sitting at like maybe 15%, which is, I mean, these are very powerful lights. However, you don't want to blow out and like light up the entire set if you're going for like a really cinematic look, because you still want shadows in the background. I boosted the light just enough so that when I bring the shadows down in post, when I'm color grading, I can black out a lot of what's in the background and keep focus on our subject, which is Adam, doing all of his different exercises on the deadlift pad. For this shot specifically, we're gonna shoot 4K 60 FPS. I wanted to do some slow motion stuff in like 150 FPS, but I don't really want to downscale to 1080 because it might get a little grainy, so we're going to stay at 60 FPS in 4K to keep it nice and sharp. So my aperture, since we're shooting in a dark situation, I'm going to crank it all the way down to f1.4. My shutter speed is going to be 125. So the reason why we have the 125 shutter speed is because we're shooting in the 60 FPS. So whenever you're shooting in a frame rate, your shutter speed has to be double what your frame rate is. So double 60 is 120, rounds up to 125, because that's what DSLR cameras will go to for your shutter speed settings. We're going to shoot a bunch of various different B-roll shots, and I'm going to explain everything that we're doing all along the way.
That looks like a spotlight, like you said.
Yeah.
Baby oil's better. Never use car spray again.
Feeling rashy today, boys. Another tip too, when you are doing the spotlight, because we have the light pointing directly down on our subject, we want Adam to be standing like right underneath it. So it's literally casting right here. We're gonna be getting some 60 FPS shots and then 24 FPS shots. I'm gonna shoot the 24 FPS shots first just to get them out of the way. For the 24 FPS shots, I'm gonna make sure that I'm moving with Adam's movement. So when he brings a dumbbell up, I'm gonna be following and tracking that dumbbell. If I notice that he's like really squinting and like when he like contracts the weight at the top of the movement, I'm gonna make sure to capture that. So like be very mindful of your athletes when you're filming them. Just like watch their facial expressions, because natural facial expressions look the best when athletes are lifting weights. So you want to capture that emotion. I'm going to do a total of 4 sets. When I'm filming one exercise in 24 FPS and 60 FPS, I have the athlete do at least 4 sets. So I do 2 sets shooting in 24, 2 sets in 60. So when we have them doing the 4 sets, I try to tell the athlete to do around like 10 to 12 reps. That's usually a pretty good pace for me to get enough 24 FPS shots and 60 FPS shots for that single exercise. So we're going to basically be starting with Adam just doing his bicep curls here with the dumbbells. And I'm just going to be capturing shots from the shadowed side of his face as well as the lit up side of his face. The other thing too, make sure you change your white balance in your camera. Don't go auto white balance when you are controlling your environment with really high quality lighting or any lighting in general. I'm going to be sticking to 5500 Kelvin for this. And I'm going to show you guys actually a quick clip of what the color balance difference will look like going from auto white balance on the Lumix S1 to my Kelvin set to 5500. Massive change in the skin tone. You're going to get very natural skin tones, very natural color, and Adam's actually going to look a little more tan than usual, honestly. So it's going to look just unbelievable. Be mindful when you're shooting in a controlled environment, set your Kelvin to around that 5500 mark or anywhere around that mark. Even 5300 to 5700 is perfect. so one more thing I want to mention here, when you are shooting your slow motion 60 FPS clips, it's easy to get a little carried away when you're shooting all these like crazy camera angles in 24 FPS and like having a lot of camera movement with your 24 FPS shots because you're obviously not using it for slow-mo. Now keep in mind when you switch to 60 FPS, keep things chill. Turn the in-body image stabilization on your camera if it does have it in your camera body on, and just be chill with it, guys. Remember, we're slow motioning these clips down, or we're gonna use them for speed wrapping. But in order to do so and do it in a clean manner, you wanna just keep a nice natural motion going. You don't wanna be like whipping the camera around because it's gonna look really bad in slow motion. So hug the camera to your chest, and the most motion that you should be doing in 60 FPS when you're shooting somebody or an athlete in a controlled environment, doing a lift where they're not moving around but only just contracting weights or lifting weights, you are just gonna, you know, maybe just shift from one leg to another, back and forth very slowly, like so, and just capturing that really smooth B-roll. We set up this bench here. We're gonna have Adam sit here, and these are gonna be like very quick snippet B-roll shots that we're gonna lay over throughout, you know, cutting back and forth from him lifting to him sitting on the bench, drinking out of a shaker cup, you know, head down, just very dark scenes is kind of what we're going for this. So we're gonna do one where he's gonna be sitting on the bench and he takes a sip of water, and then Adam like looks up at the camera, and we're gonna cue him on when to look up. So I'm gonna do like a medium shot and then a super close-up shot of him taking a sip and putting the bottle down on the ground. So the reason for doing this is just having more production value essentially. So instead of just having one shot of Adam doing that action, we're actually gonna have 3 separate angles of him doing the exact same action to cut into like a 3 or 4 second snippet of the video. It just makes everything look more like action-packed pretty much, I guess you could call it. So we're gonna do that right now and see how it looks. Alright guys, so the last shots that we're gonna get for this first promo video, we're gonna get the intro shots. So again, you don't have to shoot everything in order. We're literally shooting the intro shots last. And I'm gonna have Adam walk across the front of the building, and it's just gonna be me standing there with my in-body image stabilization turned on, and I'm just gonna be getting a shot from across the street. And it's kind of foggy outside too, so it's gonna be like a really cool, eerie type vibe. And I'm just gonna be getting a tripod shot, still shot. It's gonna open up. We're gonna put some eerie music in the background, some sound effects. All right, good. Okay, guy, like level it. Level
This
it.
angle, you look like a peacock.
Dude, do the TikTok thing.
Bro.
Alright guys, so now we are getting into part 2 of Adam's video. So this is going to be a separate video, but again, we're going to include all of this footage in the raw editing file pack. So if you guys are looking to purchase that, again, I will leave that in a link in the description of this video, as well as in the comment section of this video. So going forward now for this type of video, this is something that's definitely more freelance based. So we're not using any sort of external lighting. It's just the lighting that we have in the gym here at Brick House. So this is definitely something that's more relatable to a filmmaker who hasn't maybe shot a fitness video before, or somebody that's just wanting some more camera techniques for their gym videos that they're gonna be shooting. So basically, Adam's gonna be working on chest movements, arms, triceps and bicep exercises, shoulders, and then we're gonna do some back. So for these shots, we're literally just gonna be following Adam along as he does pretty much a workout. And we're just gonna follow him around. He's got headphones in, blasting music right now, and we're just gonna follow him while he does his working sets for each exercise throughout this whole thing. And we're gonna get just a bunch of different B-roll clips, and we're gonna take you along the way, super in depth. Let's get it. I think Adam's just gonna do some chest press, some dumbbell chest press. So I'm gonna be shooting in 60 FPS for these shots. My Kelvin's set to 5500. And that's just gonna make color grading a lot easier with the lighting that we have here. I'm gonna do 2 sets in 60 FPS and then 1 in 24 FPS, all in 4K. So the first one I'm gonna get is gonna be from like further away in 60 FPS. and then I'm gonna start moving my way in. So I'm gonna do one far away at 60 FPS for an entire set, and then I'm gonna go to like a mid-range and get a bunch of more 60 FPS shots at the mid-range area, and then I'm gonna switch to 24 FPS and start just getting the shakier handheld type vibe shots very close up to Adam while he's chest pressing. Alright guys, so when you are shooting in a gym and you see that there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, there's a lot of like equipment and everything in the background, you want to shoot at a low f-stop. So I shot at f1.8, and while Adam was laying back on the bench here, I actually just shot right on the side of him. So I was shooting like directly to the side and blurring everything in the background out, and it just looks really good, really cinematic, and it adds so much depth when your environment in the background is very busy and Adam's sitting here in perfect focus doing his reps. And just keep in mind of the environment behind your subject. You know, make sure you're getting your angles where it exposes a lot going on and make everything look busier than it really is. You know, I wouldn't really want to shoot a shot of him maybe where it's just like a wall in the background or something. I try to move around and maneuver my way around so that I can get a lot of things in the background and blur it all out. It just looks a lot more cinematic. So just to keep that in mind, be very conscious of like what's in the background of your shots. Everything will look so much more cinematic and more professional. One thing to keep in mind, if there is mirrors involved, which there are at gyms all the time, be careful, be conscious that you will see a reflection if you're shooting, let's say, straight on. So if we're shooting like this, we obviously want to be on an angle, right? Because we're going to see ourselves in the reflection of the mirror. So a way to combat this, if you really need that shot up front, just simply duck down like this and then film your subject from the front. Another thing too is that we're gonna probably be hopping over to the side here. So I'm gonna be grabbing shots of Adam directly from the side and then from a 45-degree angle. So we're gonna get some shots right here of him doing his Smith machine press. And then I'm gonna come out on a 45-degree angle, grab some here, and then I'm gonna grab some where I back out and get more of a wide shot just of all three different angles. Alright guys, so for the next shot here, we're going to shoot in 24 FPS at 50 shutter, and I'm going to turn the IBIS on my camera off. So we're going to get like very shaky, natural handheld type movements for this exercise. I see a lot of footage now. I've gotten a lot of fitness edits from you guys sent to me just to kind of critique and whatnot. When I watch people's like first fitness video edit, when they are getting a lot of handheld type shots, it just looks like they're very stiff when they're filming. They don't loosen up. Like, just loosen up a little bit when you're getting your handheld shots.
Relax on, relax off.
Pull your focus on, you know, the subject's arm or hand, and then go back to their face. You know, just don't really make the cuts like the handheld shots like this. Like, don't make them look robotic and just like up and down, up and down.
Up, down.
Tuck your elbows in a little bit and just kind of flow with the movement. Let's say you are focusing on the weight or the subject or the athlete's hand on the bar, and then the athlete brings the bar down to their chin like Adam was just doing. You know, instead of just cutting straight down like this, up and down, you know, loosen up a little bit, loosen up your shoulders a bit, and just instead of just coming straight down, you know, angle out a bit. You know, use your legs to your advantage, guys. Like, literally, when I'm angling out, I'm not just sitting here going like this. Like, I just feel I lose a lot of range of motion when I'm doing that and shooting handheld. So what I'll do is I'll shift my weight down, and then I'll come back up, shift it down, come up. So I'm almost like semi-circling while twisting the camera in a little bit. This is getting very technical, but again guys, like, this is the best way to explain it if I can't actually be there mentoring you on set right next to you. So again, just like take full advantage of your full body. If you're just moving your upper body to the movement of your handheld shots, it's gonna look just very choppy and not very organic, I guess is the best way to explain it. So really just loosen up your hips a bit and just really dip into the shots while you're getting your handheld shots. So I'm trying to get the point across that you want your handheld shots to look very natural and not choppy and robotic. We're gonna be filming Adam doing some T-bar rows here. So this is an awkward position to be in at this gym because we have a mirror right here on this side as well as on this side. So we have to catch him at like a really perfect angle so I don't see myself in the mirror, see my reflection. So what we're gonna do for this is another really cool technique for filming your fitness videos. Basically all I'm gonna do is shooting handheld again, and I'm just gonna be moving up and down. Okay, this goes kind of against what I was just talking about like getting your really smooth handheld shots. So I'm gonna bob up and down maybe 3 or 4 times, and then I'm gonna push in and get Adam really close up, and I'm gonna more so be closer up to his face, and I'm still gonna be doing that bobbing motion only so it doesn't look like a tripod shot pretty much, guys. That's the last thing we want is tripod looking shots, because that looks super amateur. You need to be putting some sort of movement, and that's again the point I'm trying to get across, is just make your shots look as natural as possible, as organic as possible, and that's what's gonna make a really cinematic look in your videos. All right guys, so I'm starting from a little further away, bobbing up and down a bit. I'm gonna get close. Still getting that natural hand movement in there. So when he comes up at the top of the rep, I'm aggressively moving my camera up, like I'm jolting it up and then coming down smooth, jolting it up, coming down smooth. That really adds a more professional look to your footage and makes your handheld shots just look super crisp. So just keep that in mind when you're filming your handheld shots in a gym. Matt always talks smack about the Ronin M and the setup time on it. I'm gonna show you guys how quick I can set up a Ronin M. I can set this thing up stupid fast. I've been using it for years. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1, go.
And it's kind of got me inspired. You really inspire me, bro.
Oh no, dagger.
What'd you forget?
Somebody didn't put a gimbal plate back in the gimbal case, so we have no gimbal today. However, I think most people that are watching this BTS are probably people that haven't filmed a fitness video before. You know what? We don't need the gimbal today. We're gonna show you guys how to shoot an entire gym video without a gimbal. We don't need a gimbal. We don't need a gimbal in our lives tonight, so we're gonna rock handheld for the rest of the shoot. I'm gonna show you guys how I pulled this off.
Oh, you forgot something again. Surprise.
Sweat it. All right, run it, run it, run it, run it, run it. All right guys, so we're gonna be getting some tricep push downs here with the rope. Starting with the camera sideways like this, and when Adam pulls down on the ropes, I'm gonna bring the camera down like this, and we're gonna get like a cool transition shot. So we're gonna transition from this to probably one of the back exercises, which I'll show you a little later on. And again, shooting in 60 FPS so we can speed ramp this clip. Hey bro, do I got gum on my shoe?
Bro, I can see the top of my toque.
Matt, you see you want to tries with that?
French fries with that?
I'm kind of craving some danks now. You down for round 2, Skinny?
No. So we're shooting 60 FPS here. Keep in mind, I'm just getting nice chill movements, right? And we're using this bar here as my foreground, so it just adds more depth to the clip. All right guys, so this is how we're gonna transition from the rope pull downs to the lat pull down. So we're gonna start like this. We're gonna bring them in. So lat pull downs are my favorite to shoot because we can get a bunch of different really cool angles. So we're gonna start from the side, and then we're gonna move at a 45-degree angle, and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna shoot through all the cables while I'm panning out, and I'm gonna be taking steps. So I'm starting on my heel like this, and I'm just gonna pan just like that. I'm gonna just barely be able to see them through the cables, but again, this just adds a different depth to your shots when doing the pull downs. And almost every pull down machine will be on like an apparatus like this, so you will be able to get behind all the cables and the beams and everything on the pull down machine. So we're gonna start with a shot of Adam just from the side here. Now we're gonna focus on his hands as he pulls down and back up. Now we're gonna go really tight on his face here. Focus on his right hand and pull down to his face just like so. so one other thing I want to mention here, so we're shooting in 24 frames per second, all right? We have Adam doing some bicep cable curls. Now this sounds super wrong and unorthodox, so what I did was I kept doubling up my shutter speed. So I started at 50 because we're shooting in 24 FPS. I doubled it to 100, and then I doubled that to 200. The reason why I'm doing this is because it takes away natural motion blur, so it actually makes the footage look a little more unnatural, but more like action-y. So whenever Adam's doing like a very quick movement, so when he's doing the cable curls, I do crank up the shutter speed for that. So what I'm gonna do is plant myself right here, and every time he goes up to curl, I'm just gonna shift my weight right here. So I'm gonna shift back and forth. When he's at the bottom of the movement and he's about to come up, all I do is just focus up on his face and I just shift while he's actually doing the movement. Just a more natural handheld movement, especially when the in-body image stabilization is turned off. You'll see it again here, and I'll lay over the clip. Basically, when he goes to curl, I'm just gonna shift my weight over and then shift it back. It looks really sick. Try it out on your next shoot. Alright guys, so while Adam warms up here, what we're going to be doing is one arm dumbbell rows on the rack. What I'm going to do for this shot is I'm going to turn the in-body image stabilization off on my Lumix S1, and I'm going to get a very shaky shot. So I'm going to purposely be like walking with the camera while the IBIS is turned off. Adam's going to be doing like a pause rep at the bottom, so he's going to be slamming the weight onto the ground. So it's going to be a very aggressive movement, and we want a lot of shake and natural handheld movements for an aggressive movement like this. Alright guys, so whenever athletes are doing face pulls, whether they're seated, standing, I always like to get a shot from the very back. And what I'll do is, Adam, if you want to sit down for a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull focus on the rope, and as he pulls back, I'm going to pull back on the camera like this. We showed this in the last behind the scenes, but this is just such a staple shot that I like to get in my fitness videos. So we're going to start like this, and I'm going to slightly tilt the camera, and I'm going to kind of twist the camera. As I pull back, I'm going to twist the camera and stop. Shooting in 60 FPS. And then once I'm good on these shots, I'm gonna move to the side, and now I'm gonna follow the ropes down like so. Nice, clean, handheld shot. That looks awesome. Get one from a little further back. And this, I'm just gonna shift my weight from one leg to another. We're gonna use this as a speed wrap or slow-mo B-roll. So right there guys, that's like literally less than a minute, and I got 3 different camera angles, and I was talking throughout it, so I probably could have gotten more shots. Just be conscious and creative when you are filming in between athletes doing their sets. Try to get as many different camera angles as you can, but don't rush it, right? Like, I'm very experienced with fitness videos, so you know, I know when I have the shot. I usually only have to go through maybe 2 to 3 reps of the athlete going through an exercise before I'm like, okay, I can move to a different camera angle within this set. So make sure you take your time though, regardless if you are new to filming fitness videos. But yeah, other than that guys, that's a wrap for today's videos. Special shout out to Adam. Thank you again for all your help on the fitness videos. This is awesome. You guys have seen them on the last behind the scenes and back at it again on this one. So if you guys want to check out Adam's app, I'll leave that in the link in the description, in the bio, as well as in the comment section of this video. Go check it out. All the videos that are actually on his app were filmed by myself. With all that being said guys, if you haven't watched the part 1 video, I will leave it in a hover card up here, as well as in the description of this video if you guys want to check that out. It's also featuring Adam of Divergent Training. But anyways guys, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.